Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for another edition of YBMcast. We've got today, to my right, Mitch Thomas sitting in. We're talking some rankings. It's always fun to talk rankings, isn't it?
It is. Especially with kind of all the talent that's in the area with the youth, these 7th and 8th graders. So it's pretty fun.
Never too early to talk rankings. And just want to mention here, YBMcast always powered by Game 7 Baseball. Go to game7baseball.com. Check out what's going on. We're going to be having Dave and Dave on the show throughout the offseason, talking Game 7 baseball, seeing what's new, what's coming up. And there's some cool stuff coming up, too. I'm here to tell you, there is.
Well, I'm invested now into this baseball side of things, so I can't wait to tune into that show.
Yeah, well, we're going to have some fun stuff. Been talking with those guys, and we're going to leave it there. Game7baseball.com. They got some early. We were just looking at it before we started, right? All the Branson the spring Branson tournaments are up down at Ballparks of America. So if you're looking for an early tournament, great turf down there at Branson. It's where the rain, it really has to rain it out. So
I've never experienced it yet. I know that we had scheduled some things to go down there. It just didn't work out for us at the time. But I'm pretty pumped about going because I've heard nothing but great things about that ballpark and how the tournaments are ran. And one of our 12U last year went down there, and it had rained for probably 2 days straight up here and down there. And they played. They ended up getting most of that tournament in because if there was a 3-hour window, they got 2 games in. So
exactly, and
they played.
Yeah, so. It's a great opportunity. You're in Branson. It's a lot of fun. So check that out on game7baseball.com. All right. Let's get into this, man. You ready?
Let's do it.
And we're going to do this. We'll give him he's got the hitting zone. Actually, the Tribe.
The Tribe.
There it is. I'll spit it out here in a moment. The Tribe, you guys got a 14U team. You guys are on you've got your team registered as a AA squad, correct?
We have 2 14s.
Okay.
Coach Jason Nicodime, and then my team as well. And Coach Nicodime is above us level play-wise. He should compete. He is competing right now kind of down in Chesterfield in the fall, trying to bring his team up a notch. And so I think that they'll have some competitive games, and I'm hoping that they move up to that AAA level to compete and push those kids.
Well, we're going to start here looking at some of these AAA. We'll start teams that were registered last year as AAA, and what we're going to see. And we're looking, folks, only in the state of Missouri. You got. I'm looking here to start with the St. Louis Naturals. Michael Friedman. His squad looks pretty good.
Yeah, I just like the Naturals, what they do in general.
Yeah.
So I feel like everything, and they're kind of small. They don't have a bunch of teams. I don't feel like in every age group. So I got a chance to watch one of their 13U games last year, and I thought they were a pretty solid program.
Yeah, and
I'll be honest with you, when I watched them, then I was just being a fan of sports, and just watching these kids play. I was like, man, that's a good team. I didn't really ever picture it that I'd be sitting here one day with you having these conversations, but. Now I'm paying attention a little bit differently on what's going out there now. So, but I like that Naturals team.
Yeah, and Game 7 baseball, they were 13-0 in their tournaments in Game 7 baseball. So, we're just looking at that right there. That's good.
That's good.
And we're looking at another rankings group, and shall not be named later. But they were 4-0 in that one. So they were undefeated in these two situations. And so right there, that kind of got Michael Freeman. We'll see. Is he going to be, we don't know yet where they'll be classified in the spring. But you got to look at that AAA level right at the top there of those AAA teams. That's 17-0. You're not getting beat.
Yeah, and that's the information that we have in front of us, and they're scoring runs. You look at their run differential and stuff on here. They're scoring, they're playing defense, and they're pitching, and so you can't really complain too much about that. They should definitely be one of those top teams in the area to beat.
Exactly. So there's a great place to start with that St. Louis Natural squad. You're looking at AAA level. The Rawlings Tigers out of Wildwood, the 2026 group there, Game 7 baseball, they were 11-2. I don't know if I saw anything on the other side here. Do you like how I did that on the other side?
I did.
No. So this is what we're going off of here. But, you know, this is Scott Mysick. They're out of Wildwood. You know, 11-2. I don't care. You're playing at the AAA level. You got some good ball players. You got some kids that can evidently swing the bat. 11-2 is a really solid record when we're talking about, you know.
Who did they lose to? I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess one of them is probably gonna be the Naturals.
That's a good question. Let's see. You know. Oh, we're looking here. Boom, boom, boom. You know, man, they put up some numbers. Nope. Yeah, they even beat. That's interesting. Recruits Legacy. There you go.
They lost to the Gators.
Miller squad, and that Missouri Gators team. We're going to talk about that Miller's squad there.
It's the end of the year. Those are their last two.
Yep, St. Louis Force.
Heck, they went what 10-0 before their first loss or something like that.
Yeah,
Finished 1-2 to end the season.
And that St. Louis Force, that's Brian Miller. That's a good squad there. That group right there, Mayberry, Jace Mayer. I know that squad. That's a good baseball team right there. They win a lot. This one here, that Miller squad. That's another good one that we're going to look at going into 14U. They're, I think, the U.S. Nationals now.
That's what I thought. I thought that the Force had kind of changed its name or whatever.
That's where Daniels has gone in there, and him and Sal McGee.
Okay.
I think you know that's where that U.S. Nationals group is now. It's I don't know how much St. Louis Force. I don't see that name being used much around anymore. They still have the website. They have building champions. They have the facility and all that. But I believe it's all U.S. Nationals at this point.
Gotcha.
I'm not for sure, Sal. You can let us know.
There's been a lot of change and a lot of U.S. somethings. Now entering our neighborhood. So
exactly. So I think that's so you can see in this situation right here where you see this group, this Rawlings Tigers. There's a lot of teams from this area, in my estimation. You have Recruits, which is now Legacy Performance Academy. That 13U squad, really good. A lot of good talent. Mike Lott got that group there. Miller, Missouri Gators, another one there that's going to be very difficult to beat. That's a major team. And they've got their squad's pretty stacked there as well. So I think you're going to see some really tough baseball in that range there. That Gators team there, that Legacy team there, this Rawlings Tigers Black 2026. I think those are going to be. And then you still have, which is a U.S. Nationals team. And I think this was, but you also have, is Jack Zimmerman's squad, they're 14U too, right?
I'm not 100% sure. I'm friends with him on the social media platform, so I don't know him directly, but I do try to follow that group because I do try to pay attention to those kind of, those kinds of coaches and winning teams. I know what he's about a little bit from people running into him or talking about him, in public and stuff like that. And so he gets a lot of high praise. And so I don't really know too much about Coach Zimmerman too much.
Right.
Other than what people have said about him.
Yeah. And we went down, it's been, gosh, I think it was when they first opened building the Champions Village down there. We did a club spotlight down there, met I like him. Soft-spoken guy, really.
Yeah.
And I liked him a lot. Josh Miller, Sal McGee, all those guys. It was a great facility and whatnot. So that's what I know of him, and his team does win. They put up. He's got some good talent. It'll be interesting to see how that continues to grow, where that is with the U.S. Nationals on that level, what that ends up being. So just in this area, the Naturals, and these are these well-known clubs, right? The Naturals, the Gators, Tigers, Rawlings Tigers, and I think it's going to be a dogfight between some of those groups. You have this Jackson Tribe team from down there in that Jackson area. They've come up. I've seen them a couple different times. That's a good-looking baseball team there. Mark Moore does a good job with that group. I've seen them play. They're a good baseball team.
Yeah, and you could see one of the nice things that I like about Game 7's website is they give you kind of what they've played in, whether they're AA, AAA, and even major. And you see some of the classes that they try to challenge themselves a little bit too by even playing major. Mm-hmm. And, that's their 2 losses that they had on the season. They might have started out at a AA level, but, they felt they could compete well there and they kind of moved up. So it's nice to see that these teams are challenging their athletes and not just going out there to trophy hunt or whatever. Because I'm assuming if that team had played a AA schedule, they'd probably do pretty well.
Yeah.
Because and they've played some and they're undefeated. The only 2 losses that group had was in majors.
Exactly. Or
against major teams.
Against major teams. And, when we're talking about, the Missouri Gators, when we're talking about the Naturals, we're talking about U.S. You also have, and we're just looking at the AAA level right now. And we're dealing with this area. We're going to talk Kansas City. We're going to talk Southwest Missouri. We're going to talk Southeast Missouri. We got plenty of time to get there, right?
We got months.
It's October.
But it comes fast. It will be here in no time.
And I think this is going to give us some opportunity. We're going to look to get some coaches on and talk to some of these coaches and bring about a conversation about where these things are going. That's our goal here, talking youth baseball, looking at this situation, seeing where these kids go, because as they move into high school, that's the next that next step. And we get into, it's great then to bring that perspective. We're seeing these kids and who's moving into that next level. And we talk with Kevin Mulder from PBR, and he gets an eye on some of these kids, that the 2025s, the freshmen coming in, who's going to be an impact player. And now we're talking high school and having some fun that way. Yeah. I mean, the whole thing is just really great as you're tracking some of these higher level teams and having some fun with that stuff and looking at how these kids grow and what impact they'll have on their high school squads.
Things are changing for them, right? Mentally, physically, athletically, you name it, these things are changing. So you're starting to watch, at least at this age group, going into that 14U level, who is taking the next steps. And it's fun to kind of be out there and be a part of this journey at that 14U age group. So I'm pretty excited as now a coach of a 14U team. Now we're a AA team, and I think we're going to be probably close to a 500, AA team. We still have some growth, but we have 3 pitchers that could easily carry us if we get into a bracket play.
Right.
The key is going to be pool for us.
Right.
If we end up going 0-2 in pool, we might end up in a silver division or something, and then we throw our guys out there, and next thing you know, we should be competing at a different level. But we don't have the depth. We have solid teams. And I wanted to add something to some of these rosters that you were pulling up, things like the Naturals and things like that. Those teams have some pretty solid roster numbers.
Oh, yeah.
They're not just 10, 11 guys. And I know that the Mavericks was one of those rare teams that have, 10, 11 or guys on a team, and all of them pitch and all of them do their job. But some of these teams look like they had 12, 14 guys on that roster. And I mean, obviously can't count from here, but it seemed like they had quite a few dudes.
There's 12 on this squad. And I think that's admirable to look at that, to understand, to bring some of these kids. Because like we've talked about, and we're looking at this St. Louis Naturals, Michael Friedman's team. He's got 12 dudes on this roster. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And because injuries, things like that. And I've been talking to coaches more and more about these things. How do you pick up a kid during the middle of a season? It's tough. You have a couple of injuries. Yeah, I've seen kids on the sidelines, in the dugout with a cast on, broke a hand or limping, they twisted an ankle, knee, whatever. Injuries are part of the game.
They are, and I think 12's healthy. Especially as they get older, I'd like to see a few more. I know my 14U team we have 14 guys on that team, and then our other 14U team has 12. That team has been together quite a while. I still have, I took a couple guys that are pretty raw
Yeah.
And so I like to teach them, and they work real hard. So we have 14 because of different sports, and it's not baseball 100% of the time. So that's why we took that. But I'm excited about having the deep roster because I think it creates competition. It creates a great practice plan. To have somebody be able to run bases when you're trying to do first and thirds and bunt coverages and things that you can't do with 9, 10, 11 guys, at practice. So it gives me a little bit of room, but I'm excited to watch this 14U group. And I think part of it is I'm also a high school baseball coach.
Right.
And so this is the next crop of boys coming in and getting to see some of these kids that are local or that are going to come to Timberland and, play in the GACs and stuff like that. I'm excited to watch these young men kind of go through this process. And then what's the next step?
Exactly.
At 14U, you start to recognize all these names, and next thing you know it, you're looking for their signing days in the newspaper in the STL Today or, on high school sports or whatever. And it's just really neat. Even though I'm not directly in their journey, but to watch that journey through social media, newspapers, and playing against them.
So here we're sitting here looking at this, and I really believe that, the Legacy team, Legacy Performance Academy.
That team's well coached from what I understand.
St. Louis prospects. And this is, I want to do this real quick. The only other ones we don't see, and this is Ryan Lazinski, major. And I've seen this team. They look to be very good. And I think that's going to be an interesting one to watch. The other one there is always we kind of don't see because I don't know where they play in different things, but the Gamers, their top teams and whatnot, 14U, we'll see because they're always good. They got good talent.
You always assume, and plus the pedigree that's there as far as the staff goes, right? Their coaches and who runs the Gamers. You always think the pedigree just kind of draws guys in.
And so we know these teams, the Naturals, the Force. The Force looks like it's got two squads there. Legacy Performance Academy, Missouri Gators. They might have a couple there too, but we'll see. We'll see. Then you have the other one we don't know. We kind of looking to see what's going to happen is I want to see what Premier Academy does around here, PBA.
They're big. They have some big kids. They were in actually last night in the facility, and there's some of their 14U kids are as big as some of their 15U guys because they had 3 age groups in last night, and because they work out of the hitting zone, as does Gas House. But Gas House has 2 AA teams, but the team come in there. I'm looking at them. I'm like, these kids are 14, man. Like my 14-year-olds don't look like that. Neither does some of the kids on my the other 14U team. I'm like, man, they grew them, but again, I have one kid that is probably, 5'8", 5'9", at 14 years old, 5'10"-ish, probably 180 pounds. So he's a big boy. And he can smash a baseball. He can throw a baseball. Nicodime has a kid that's like 6'1".
Right.
And can absolutely mash baseballs and usually hits them where they ain't. So you see that there. But he has to hit it. So, but it goes a very long ways. But these kids are huge. And I was kind of impressed with his group. And, I don't look at them to scout information. That's irrelevant.
Right.
You're hitting batting practice off of a tee and front toss off a coach, so I don't really look at that and go, man, they're whatever. I want to see them play, but they have size and athleticism.
Yeah. That
they do.
So I think we're looking at the top groups in this area. PBA, you're looking at prospects for U.S. Nationals. I want to get those right. Legacy.
Somebody's got to beat the Naturals first.
And the Naturals, they're not a major. They're a AAA, but they're right in there.
Did they play against any major?
Yeah,
teams?
they beat Legacy Performance Academy. We've seen that score. They beat them, I think, 5-3.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, there you go. It's just that scope of good quality teams. That's where the rankings AAA. That's why I look at AAA and major, and I put those in kind of in the same category because you don't know sometimes.
Yeah.
How you compete. You got a pitcher that's maybe a little better than the other, and that team wins that day. The other team wins the next day. That's kind of the way it is, right?
Yeah, it clearly looks like there's a lot more AAA teams than there are majors. There's probably some teams on that AAA level that probably should drop off their period and be a better AA team.
I don't disagree.
And I don't know if that's just the draw to try to get families to come in or not.
Well, but I think sometimes you can also do that to your detriment. Can you challenge your kids? You know, you got a team here that, and I saw these kids, the Heat out of Eureka, Missouri. They were 7-7 in Game 7 play, but they were playing at a AAA level, and challenging the kids. Do you get better playing at that level? Probably so.
Well, you scroll down a little further. You got that Gamers team there. They didn't have a win, so that might tell us a little bit about the Gamers group. Is that the Gamers?
Yeah, it's gray right there. AAA Ron Strong. I didn't see. Yeah, we'll see.
They were.
But I think you got to look at sometimes with the Gamers, because they have their Gamers Academy, and then they have their.
I got you.
St. Louis Gamers. I don't know. It's kind of weird how they do that. There's kind of two different sides. So I don't know sometimes.
Kind of like what Gators do with the GBA versus
GBA and their Gators, Missouri Gators. So it's a little different in here. So we got some. I think we have a good starting place. If I'm going to say anything, I think we got that Naturals, that AAA team right there, along with, I think Zimmerman's team was really good. I think,
just like what he's about.
You got, and I want to see PBA a little bit more, but you're looking at the Naturals, U.S. Nationals, in that major side, LPA, Legacy Performance Academy, the Gators. Top 5, you're looking there, I think, in that respect, along with the other St. Louis Force team. I think that's where you're talking about top 5. I'm not going to put them in any order yet because I don't think we need to. We're just starting there. Yeah. That's in this area. We're going to talk Kansas City, but we're going to try and get a little bit more information. What do you think?
Yeah, you got to assume, too, like, did they lose anybody? Did they lose an arm to an LPA? Or, did guys move teams? Did somebody pick somebody up? So, obviously, this changes year to year, but looking at 13U numbers, it's going to be exciting to be a part of this because now I'm invested in it now, right? Yeah, so I'm going to see this much differently. And, I'm watching Coach Nicodime's group, and he was a AA team last year. Right. And I believe he's going to challenge his group this year. So I'm excited to see what they can do against these higher level groups, or if they're just really a good AA team. Yeah. But he wants to challenge. So
that's okay.
And he may, he won several AA tournaments last year. But this fall he went out and competed AAA, and he's competing. Yeah. I think they've lost 2 or 3 games this fall. So for the most part, they're doing pretty good damage. So it'll be fun to watch this group grow. And like I said, being a high school coach, I love the investment of seeing the next crop of kids come through the high school programs. Right. Because that's ultimately, I'm competing against them now. I'll be competing against them for the next 4 years in high school. So, how do I pitch to them? I don't think about that maybe at the 14U level, but when I watch, somebody from that Naturals team, or my buddy's son who plays on LPA, when he hits the Fort Zumwalt School District, I'm going to be like, hey, coach, you might want to throw this kid this pitch because he can't hit it. I'll have a couple of years of experience, hopefully facing them. So.
Coaches, we're looking forward to it. We're going to reach out, see if we can get you on there. We'd love to have you on the show. Please come on. Let's talk some baseball. Let's talk about where you see these teams and rankings, because I think that would be a great opportunity to get that.
They're the ones that know. Especially, they're obviously looking at these roster, or these games played and stuff like that, and they're obviously competing against each other since it's a small group of stud teams. They're competing against each other regularly. I see the same names on there. Yeah. And so when you're talking about 5-3 ball games, that's got to be a blast to play at the third. Well, last year it was 13. Right. So that had to be crisp defense, good pitching, timely hitting, stuff like that. So that'll be fun to bring the coaches on because they're way more invested from their experience than I am. I'll have a better idea next year, but at the end of the day, I would love to talk to Coach Zimmerman.
Absolutely.
Just because of what the good things I hear about him personally.
Exactly. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'll tag him on Facebook.
We're gonna keep talking baseball here. That's kind of our short list to start off with here at the 14U. We're going to be talking more 13U, more 14U, looking at Kansas City, looking southwest, southeast. We're looking forward to it. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, if you like what we're doing, hit that subscribe button. Hit the dinger. That gets your notifications because that's what we do around here.
We hit dingers.
That's right. Double D's, though. Doubles and dingers is always good. I love this.
Doubles and dingers.
I gotta throw that in there somehow. Don't know yet. But anyway, all you pitchers keep throwing strikes. You hitters,
Hit them where they ain't.
I love that advice. It's great advice. Even at the pro level.
That's how you get your numbers up.
Everybody have a great day in the Lord. We'll see you next time.